Welcome to Bellefonte. Bellefonte is a small suburban town nestled in the heart of central Pennsylvania. We pride ourselves in our rich history here in Bellefonte. Did you know Harry Houdini was one of our very first performers in the Garmin Opera House? We've also had 5 governors come out of Bellefonte, and we have a world-class fishing stream with Spring Creek that flows right through the center of town. In 1912, our Bellefonte Academy football team played the freshman Penn State football team, and we won 7-0. There's a lot of really great, rich history that makes Bellefonte so wonderful, but there's also a lot of really great things that we're doing still today in our community. We have local restaurants, local businesses, and other shops that are all locally owned, and we really pride ourselves on that rich history and still community today. Behind me, you will see Bellefonte Area High School. Hi, I'm Poorman, and I've been teaching agricultural sciences here for 9 years. I started my career at Bellefonte, and I hope to end it here as well. One of the connections that I am really passionate about in our community is our school gardens. The gardens are a project that my classes and I came up with last year to not only provide fresh produce for our school cafeteria, but also for our community. And hopefully in the future, we're going to partner with Penn State Extension and our Nutrition Links educator and create some programs that are based upon nutrition for our community. And we also have a future spot for community gardens as well. We still have a lot of wonderful community connections going on here at the high school. Our music department, our theater department, athletics. There's just a lot of wonderful things that are that's going on a daily basis here at this school. We have 856 students who are involved in many different organizations, and as well as athletics and other things that are here at the school as well as in the community. Here at Bellefonte Area School District, we have a motto: inspiring and preparing today's learners for tomorrow's challenges. And as an educator, I have the opportunity and the privilege to do that every single day when my students step into my classroom. The class that you are going to see me teach is my pre-veterinary science class. This is a smaller class with 16 students. 1 student has an IEP, and 2 students are life skills students, each with a personal care aid. There's a lot of differentiation that takes place in my classroom on a daily basis, which benefits all of my students, not just a few. The next time you're in the area, stop by because I'd love to give you a tour. And welcome to Bellefonte. Good morning. The teaching lesson that you will see me teach today is one of my all-time favorites. It is a cow eye dissection. Now, I know that I could teach this lesson by just showing the anatomy of a cow eye using paper or maybe even a video, but it's so much more fun and there's so much more learning when the kids can actually get their hands on the cow eye and be able to dissect it and find the different parts and the anatomy of those different parts and be able to identify it. So they'll be identifying 14 different parts of the cow eye today. And the part specifically that you're going to see is the kids getting to work and my interaction with the students. You will see a brief review of the big ideas. We'll already have gone over the vocab and what those 14 terms were. We'll also already have gone over the instructions. But we'll start at the big ideas, and the students will be reminded of the essential questions and some of their goals to look at. So there'll be a lot of where-tos that you'll see during this lesson. Definitely when I give them the cow eye, they'll be hooked, and they'll stay hooked and engaged the entire time. I also want to remind them of the purpose of this lesson and what our objectives are. And our objectives, as you can see over here, we have 3 main objectives: to define and understand the 14 terms associated with the eye, to understand the importance of following directions to achieve a desired outcome, and to explain how the optic nerve carries information from the retina to the brain. And this is all very relevant in the field of veterinary science and veterinary medicine. And so what the students will be doing is answering these essential questions, and they'll also be completing the dissection. And you'll see me going around and interacting with my students during this actual lesson. And hopefully you'll be able to see some of them reach their goal of successfully removing the lens without cutting it. Now, I do have 2 students in this class who are life skills class, and they have 1 teacher's aide that's with them today. And so I will be giving them a little bit of differentiation. Instead of actually dissecting the cow eye and using the scalpel, they'll be coloring in the cow eye when we talk about and identify each of those parts. You'll also see the students kind of go through some trial and error with their scalpels and with their precision on cutting and the things that they've learned in class. And so you'll get to see them evaluate what they're doing and if it's working to successfully answer these 3 big ideas and then also to be able to complete their goal. Being hands-on is so important to my teaching. It really just brings in much more real-world application, and it's just a lot more fun, and the students tend to remember the information versus just seeing it on paper or on a video. So I hope you like this lesson as much as I enjoy teaching it. Okay, so you have your instructions, and now just to review our big ideas, the 3 essential questions. Obviously, once you have your hands in the cow eye goop, you are not actually going to be worried about writing these. We're going to finish these at the end. But as you're dissecting, I want you to remember, how is the tapetum similar to a cat eye? Do you remember what the tapetum lucidium does in a cat eye?
It adjusts the eye.
It does, and it helps. What were you going to say, Bree?
Doesn't it like reflect?
Yeah, it reflects the light back into the retina so that the animal can see. And so this is why animals, when we shine lights on them, like if you're spotlighting or your headlights catch them, they shine. And so this in the cow eye is actually a different color. You'll see it's actually a really pretty, like teals and greens and blues. It's very pretty. And then we're going to compare and contrast the iris and the pupil. So if you just flip to the vocab part again. Somebody read for me what the iris does, please. Go ahead.
A muscle that controls how much light enters the eye. It is suspended between the cornea and the lens. A cow's iris is brown. Human irises come in many colors, including brown, blue, green, and gray.
Good. And then the pupil. Somebody read the pupil, what the pupil does. Go ahead, Levi.
The pupil is the dark circle in the center of your iris. It's a hole that lets light into the inner eye. Your pupil is round, a cow's pupil is oval.
Okay, so the iris is the muscle that controls. The pupil is the dark circle, and it's where the light goes into. So when you're giving a neurological exam of an animal, even if it's just a physical exam, you would be looking in their eye to make sure that what? They are familiar with their surroundings, that their nervous system seems to be working, they're aware, and you can tell by looking at the eye what exactly could be wrong with the animal. Sometimes, the eyes and the sinus area, the head area is really, really important during a physical exam. So now that you have your cow eyes, I forgot this one. So then we're going to explain the function of the optic nerve. And you will all look at your optic nerve. Go ahead and touch your eyeballs, please. And I want you to find the optic nerve. It should be around the back. You should be able to see it. Let me get one out. Do you see it? So it's just going to be like a little white. You kind of have to move it, kind of squeeze it so it pops out. Okay. So the optic nerve is what actually sends the signals from the eye to the brain. So it's probably covered in the muscle. If you just see it looks like this. Yep. So here's what the optic nerve looks like. Just that little white thing. It's almost like a little pipe sticking out. Did you guys find yours? Did you find it? Yeah, you guys found it? Yeah, awesome. Okay. Very good. So the optic nerve is really, really important in the nervous system in any animal. It lets the animal's brain know, okay, this is what I'm seeing. And so that's really important. Now we're going to go ahead and get started. Remember that your goal is to successfully remove the lens without cutting it. So I will pass out your scalpels. just going to follow the directions in your packet step by step, please. I cannot stress that enough, that it's step by step. The only thing that you're not going to have to do is cut away the fat, because we're really just going to be starting to work through the cornea. So when using your scalpel, please make sure that you are very careful with your scalpel. Put a little bit of gentle pressure on the eye, and then go ahead and start making an incision close to where the sclera comes around, and the sclera is just that white muscle, but still onto the cornea, because it's a lot harder to get through the sclera than it is on the cornea. The cornea is a lot easier. So you'll just start just making an incision, and you have to press harder than you think, but once you get the incision, if you guys can look up here, I know it's hard to see, you'll start being able to like peel the cornea back. But then you don't want to slice the whole way off, because you might get part of the lens. You kind of want to just go at an angle and actually go in. And once you have entered, the aqueous humor and the vitreous humor will come out. And that's what you'll see, and that's what will be kind of white and goopy, and okay? So let's go ahead and get started, and I will be around and I will answer any questions that you may have.
Kenny's gonna. Ken has his.
Ms. Poorman,
Yes.
so do you want us like,
You gotta put the pressure on it so that it
So don't go down on the sclera, you'll actually be still on the cornea,
yeah,
but just as close as you can get to the sclera.
so like kind of like that black line around?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit above it too. So you're gonna start cutting on the cornea, but you need to make sure that you're following that. So you'll start like cutting to just above the sclera. Either side, whichever side you want, whatever is most comfortable. So what I would like you, Adam and Ashley, to do is I would like you to color, and you can color it whatever color you want. I want you to try to match these words to our vocab words that we have on the board, and color those parts of the cow eye so that you're identifying them as well. Okay? All right.
So it can't.
Some of it came out, but
You can just make the incision maybe a little bit bigger.
That's not very good.
Try to use more of the side of the scalpel, like not the pointy end.
Listen.
It's okay. What? Go. You might need to go in a little bit deeper, or you can just squeeze and just hold, just like angle it down away from your face, so you can squeeze the lens out. You might need to do it just a little bit deeper. How's everybody doing? I know. See, I told you, it'll seem like you're cutting really, really hard. It is a muscle, so you have to remember that. It's hard. Yeah. So stay on the corner. Yeah.
I think I can.
Yeah, but do it kind of at an angle, like to the side. Remember when we did the injections with the oranges and how you went in at an angle? So this is very similar. Yeah. Alright. Excellent! Good job! And what color are you going to color the iris? You can color it whatever color you want to. Very good, Ashley. So don't forget to just be putting, just match up our vocab words with what's on here. There may be a little bit more than what's on here than what's up on our picture, okay? Very
I got the
good.
lens out.
Good job. Doing okay? I know, it's hard.
I already got the lens
Okay.
out. When I went.
So you're doing it. You just got to go in further. There's a lot of layers.
The scalpel's not like super short.
See how you just keep doing this, and you'll eventually feel it like give, and the virtuous and the devious humor will come out. So you're all. Okay. Yes. It's black and clear, goopy. Yep.
I went.
You got it? Yay! Did it come out whole? Awesome. Okay, here. So go ahead and put the lens down. Yeah. So we have one lens out that's complete, and once we all get our lenses out, go ahead and continue reading the directions and cutting apart the rest of the eye so that we can get as many parts visible that's on our vocab list as possible, okay?
Just says that clear liquid is out.
So like, so I cut these in.
Yep, because the clear liquid should start coming out. Awesome. So once we have our all of our lenses out, keep following those directions and be able to cut out the rest of the parts that we can on our vocab terms so that we really can identify what those parts look like, and as a veterinarian, what you would be looking for, okay?
I got it. This one.
Oh, no, they're all, I promise you, they're all sharp.
This one works. It's kind of gross. Got it.
Yeah, it smells a little bit. You're good. Any questions up to this point?
And we're just supposed to make a cut and so it's like.
Yes. Yep. And then pull that lens out. And then what we'll do is go over each of those parts and we'll look at them and we'll then go back to our vocab so that you see, okay, this is the part that does this and this is the part that does that. Teaching is not for everyone. It's hard. It's not for the faint of heart. It's challenging. It can be frustrating, and you will lose sleep. Now, it might seem funny for me to start a talk that's supposed to be all about the positive things about teaching and why you should become a teacher, but it's true. It's hard to see your students struggle when you know that they can do it, but they just don't want to. As a teacher, you're responsible for teaching more than just your content. You're a leader. You're a caregiver. You're a cheerleader. You're a helper and a listener. You're a role model. You're a smile. You're a kind word. Maybe the only one they'll get that day. And you also challenge your kids to work harder and set goals for themselves. You teach them it's okay to make mistakes, and then teach them how to problem solve and achieve success. It's challenging when you expect all of your students to get it because you've put so much time and effort into your lesson that you just know it's going to happen. But some still don't. It's frustrating when Daniel, who sits right over there, just won't do his work. But you know that he can, and you don't understand why. But you think maybe he's having a bad day, and you'll lose sleep trying to figure out how you can get him to realize that he can do more and to really see his full potential. Teaching is all of those things and many, many more. And it's also one of the best decisions I've ever made. As a teacher, you and I have the privilege to be all of those things for our students and more. And that's a heavy charge. It is not for the faint of heart. But we rise to the challenge because we know that the rewards are great. And they're definitely not immediate. Years down the road, when you get that email from Daniel thanking you for taking the time and pushing him and challenging him, even though you didn't see it in class, he learned something from that. And now he's doing great things, and he understands the value of his education. It's seeing a student have no idea what they want to do with their life, find their place in your classes, and take every opportunity to achieve their goals, and you get a phone call from them letting you know that they graduated from college and they're going to school to get their master's degree in, you know what? Education. And they want to be a teacher. You know why? Because of you. That's so rewarding. And being a teacher, you have the opportunity to make a difference in the young people's lives every single day they enter your classroom. Every single day. What an honor that is. As a teacher, we have to be passionate and excited about what we teach. If we are, then our students will be too. We have to bring in practical application and show the students how they're going to learn this content and use this content in real life and how it relates to the real world. It's so important to be able to challenge our students and help them know it's okay to make mistakes and teach them how they can work past those. And then when you see that light bulb come on and all of your students and you as the teacher have that aha moment, that's just so worth it. I believe that every teacher can probably look back on their high school career or even their elementary school career and name one or two teachers who have impacted their lives in some way. And I'm no different. I have that teacher as well. But my story really didn't happen until graduate school. I didn't know that I wanted to be a teacher. But I knew that I wanted to add my teaching certification on because I thought having a teaching certificate could get me a job in a lot of different places. But then I thought about her, my teacher in high school, who had that impact on me, who made learning fun, who made it practical, and made me see that sometimes I was learning so much even though I really didn't even realize it. And then knowing how that affected me years after high school, I have that teacher, and I'm sure probably you do too. And I knew if I could make half the impact that she did on me, that it would be so worth it. I graduated from graduate school, got a job here, and I've been inspiring and challenging my students just like she did me ever since. And while it can be challenging at times, knowing that I'm impacting the lives of our future leaders, of our politicians, of our athletes, of our doctors, of our researchers, of our businessmen and women, of our mechanics, of our craftsmen, of our teachers, I wouldn't want it any other day. Everybody has a story. What will yours be?